Richard, here we are, back again for a brand new season, and we're a month into the new campaign, and things have just, you've really hit the ground running, haven't you?
Yeah, been a great start to the year. Haatem's performance in the Craven Stakes was very impressive. That was a pleasant surprise. I always thought he was a good horse, and he's already a Group 2 winner. But to see him win like that is very, very pleasing. And then we had Star Style at Newbury, the last race on Friday. I think she could be a little bit special. And we've always thought that. And then Voyage, of course, one of Julie's, that's her Derby horse. You won't talk her out of that. He was very impressive. And the 2-year-old as well, and Dark 30. Yeah, a great start. And you like to think we haven't played the big guns yet.
And often this time of year we talk about how the weather's been so bad over the winter and it just sort of sets quite a few of the trainers back. But I mean, as I said, have you done anything different this year to make sure they are slightly more forward?
Haatem's been away, I think, twice now with Rosallion. And so, yeah, he would have done plenty. But it has been very hard. It's been very wet. So we haven't been able to use the grass as much as we normally do. But it's pleasing to see a 2-year-old already go out and win on turf. And a few of them, I think, would only have seen it once or twice. So, yeah, but it's been the same for everybody, and there's nothing we can do to change that. We've just got to hope the next couple of weeks stay dryish, and it's nice ground at Newmarket.
We'll get stuck into the big guns in a few minutes, but let's just talk about those that have run. You touched there on Haatem in the Craven. He's around 25 to 1 with Unibet to win the 2,000 Guineas.
Very generous, I think.
Oh, always. You always get the value of Unibet. How much of a surprise was it that he was able to win, and he was able to win as impressively as he did?
Well, I kept going back to 6 furlongs with him after he won the 7 furlong Group 2, and I'm not sure that was the right thing to do. And he loves the mile, and it's clear that he is much better the further he goes. And I didn't expect him to win like that, but physically he looks like a monster, and he's got to be a very good horse. I mean, don't tell me the Craven is ever a bad race. It doesn't matter what year you look back and there's good horses that appear in it. And, quite often it's a Guineas winner.
Well, of course, you've got Rosallion, who is around 4 to 1 with Unibet, second favourite behind City of Troy, 4 for the first Classic of the season. As his first question is sort of how has he wintered? Has he grown physically, mentally?
Yeah, he's done very well. He lost, I think, 17 or 18 kilos in France. It was a very hot day when he won the Lagardère, in record time, may I add. So he's entitled to lose a fair bit of weight, but he put that on within 5 days of being back. And since then, he's put on another 25 kilos, which is a lot. He's looked like it's July all through the winter, weirdly enough. Paco Boy used to do the same thing. He never really got a winter coat, and this lad has looked brilliant. Timmy Murphy's done a great job with him, and really happy with him, the way he's working. It's a bit of an unknown territory, not having a run before the Guineas, but I certainly didn't want to take the chance of running him on A, soft ground, and B, it would be within 2 weeks of the big race, which I think is a little bit close, even with a big horse like him. So I'd rather go there fresh and, fit from racecourse gallops, etc.
Now, I was at Doncaster when he got beaten in the Champagne Stakes. And
could have blown me over with a feather.
If the yard cat would have been at Donny, it would have been up in the sky somewhere, because the look
believe
on
it.
your face. Was it just the ground? Is he entirely ground dependent?
I think he got hit over the nose twice with a whip, which wouldn't help things. But he shouldn't. He should be able to. If that's bothering him, he should be able to just saunter past like I thought he could and would. And he was never at the races, never picked up at all. He beat the second horse, I think 14 lengths, 6 weeks before. He hadn't beaten the winner, but the winner was very impressive on that day. He's no slouch. It's actually Sheikh Mohammed Abay's idea to go to France.
I was going to say, because that's quite a brave move to do. After being beaten, you also thought, well, let's just put him away. I did not want to get
beat again.
No.
But with his recommendation of that race, I kind of went there thinking, right behind him, it's actually not a bad idea. It could have backfired. And, he was drawn on the outside, and he came from last to first, and to win it in a record time is really impressive. And to come back after getting beat, it kind of just reinforced, told you so. But it's funny how they can go to the races and one day be like that, and the next day back to their brilliant best. And that was a disappointed day, I've got to say. The traffic was that bad. I ran the last mile and a half, and I wouldn't run for anything apart from him. And I ran there, got there, for basically what was a big kick in the guts, let's say. And, can't believe it. There you go.
And when we talk about horses going into the Guineas, there's always that sort of slight question mark as do they get the trip? But at least with Rosallion, you know that he stays a mile and stays it well.
Yeah, he ran right through the line at Longchamp. If you actually watch the race, it takes him a long time to pull him up. And you've got a Breeders' Cup winner behind him.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a decent race.
You've obviously got close association with the Guineas with Night of Thunder, and Barney Roy was just now. Where does this horse fit in with those
right at the top,
type of horses?
Right at the top. He's always showed an awful lot. He's very relaxed. He behaves like the real good ones do. Just have a little bit of a, they walk, nothing bothers them, and he's been a pleasure. He looks great, looks after himself, and he's, I don't think any of those were Group 1 winners going into the Guineas. And this fella is, and that is, winning Group 1s as a 2-year-old is nigh on impossible, especially what we consider the top ones. And the fact he's done that makes him extremely highly qualified to run extremely well in the Guineas. Extremely well, win the Guineas,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I know you're always pretty confident. You're always quite bullish about your horses anyway. You're not afraid to let people know how good you think they are.
This horse has already won a Group 1, so we're kind of vindicated anyway. But not that I want to win a Guineas because it makes me look right, just because you have something a little bit different. And when you have so many horses, geniuses amongst them are really quite different to the others. And he's always been like that.
Does he show just that extra sort of bit of sparkle at home?
Yeah, his work is electric, and I think that's when he works with Haatem. He's obviously got more speed than Haatem, so he looks more electric, whereas Haatem makes you running over a mile, gallops him into the ground. Rosallion's not that sort of horse. He's more like a sit, take your time, and find one to aim at.
I suppose, if anything, when Haatem won the Craven, that would have given you, all due respect to Haatem, but that must have just given you a little bit more confidence with regards to this horse's chance in the 2000s.
Exactly, yeah. They're two horses that are very good-looking models, but they do things totally differently.
Let's sort of stick with the classics as we're talking about them in a minute. We mentioned Star Style, who was so impressive at Newbury.
We've always liked her. Even last year, she's a monster, she's very big. She looks like she's about 6 years old, and sometimes what's that colt? She looks like a man, and she was very impressive the other day. Went out, first time out, hit the gates, made the running, did the donkey work, and bolted up. That was really pleasing to see that. Interestingly enough, I think we've been talking to the handicapper, and I don't think he's really of the same opinion that we think we are. But it's only her first run. She could do no more than beat them like she did at Newbury. Newmarket, worry slightly about the undulations, but if she copes with them and she's able to go from the gate, she's got to have a chance of running very well. She's a good filly. She looked it the other day. It's nice when they prove that, because she's done it at home. I've taken her to Newbury for a racecourse gallop before that race, and we worked on the round bit, the hurdle course, and she was sticking out then, working with pretty decent colts. So it's nice to see her reproduce that in a race situation.
Was she quite a late maturing filly? Is that why we didn't see her as a 2-year-old?
And she pulled muscles behind. She was a big girl, but she's always shown plenty, been a lovely mover, and looked very solid. And we were very happy with her being so big to leave her till this year.
And Dobbsy gave her a confident ride, didn't he?
Yep.
As soon as I saw her out in front, I thought, right, well, they mean business,
Yeah. It wasn't a bad race, and Dobbsy, funnily enough, rode her about a week before when he came back from Dubai. I thought she was all right, nothing, no sparks flying or anything like that. But when you see her action, when she got a chance to use that at Newbury, that's probably why she looks so good. I always worry about horses that win races by those sort of distances. Whether they do it again is always, Mum's Tipple did it at York. A few of them have done it, and something a bit weird about it, and sometimes it doesn't happen again. But I think what she did to a pretty decent field, albeit a field of maidens, she was impressive.
Serene Saraf, she in the Guineas as well, and we haven't
She's
seen her
not
yet
going to
this
go.
season. No.
She's going to have one run, and then she's going to go to the Sandringham at Royal Ascot. She's always very late to come on her coat, and she's exactly the same this year. I'd almost be embarrassed to take her to the races. She looks like a teddy bear. But she's moving great, and she's still got all her enthusiasm, but she's just not there in her coat, and that will take another month, and she'll be fine. She was the same last year.
I know she's a filly you've always liked. Was it just the heavy ground at Newmarket last back?
Oh yeah, she ran so bad. As I said to Richard Brown, who manages the horses for HAWAIIAN, it would be a lot worse if she got beaten fair and square. But she was never at the races, never going to run a race. You know, she was favourite for good reason, but she just didn't turn up, and it was probably too late on in the year for her, and one step too far. So we'll use that to our advantage and go handicap at Royal Ascot route.
Okay. Looking further down the line for the Classics, the Derby, of course, the first Saturday in June. Voyage.
Thanks for reminding me of that.
Now, you kept that one quiet, Richard.
I normally have that day off.
25-1 winner on the day, 28-1 I think he was in the end. Lovely son of Golden Horn, of course, he won the Derby himself.
Yep.
What can you tell us about him? I mean, you had 2 runners in that race.
I was surprised, I've got to say.
Really?
But I watched the race again last night, and there was nothing fluky about that at all. I really liked the horse that finished 4th, Sam Hawkins. If we'd have made the running with him, he could have been a lot closer. But this horse won easy. He was on the bridle the whole way and actually quickened when he went for him. That was impressive. But there were times last year where he looked slow. And I thought, don't even know if I want to run him. And we didn't. We took him to Newbury to work on that round hurdle track. And he worked good, but I kind of just thought it was just him keen. Not that he was actually, that was ability making him travel. I put it down to him just being keen, and there was an element of that, but it's also clearly ability as well. You know, and he's a nice big horse. He's lightly raced. He'll improve. Both of them, him and Star Style, will improve massively for their first runs. And Julie Wood is very much looking forward to the Derby. And if you try and talk her out of that, you're a better man than me. Don't bother. She's going, and she's right.
Straight to Epsom?
Well, I think she could well do, yeah. You know, she gets an idea about a horse. She's not afraid of anything. I love that. You know, it's really good for her. The amount of people have come up and said to me, isn't it great for Julie? Nobody says Julie Wood. When they say Julie, you're supposed to know who people are talking about. And they said how good it was for her, and it is. She's had a lot of horse over the years. She's extremely loyal and a good mate, and it'd be great to see her have one run very well in a classic, be it the Guineas or the Derby, I don't care. One of them.
That's what I mean. She's the good thing is probably quite suited to you as well. You know, you're not afraid to put these horses in these big races. You've got to be in it to win it.
But sometimes you get these horses that show a lot of home, and 99 times out of 100, it's kind of a disappointment. You know, because when you shake the reins at the ones that travel well at home, they kind of don't go anywhere. Most of them, and these two, you can't say that. And it's lovely for her to hear the way we've been talking about the filly, certainly. And to see her go and do that. She got such a buzz out of that on Friday. You know, it's great to watch, actually. You do get a lot of job satisfaction when you see an owner like that feels it, you know.
Maybe the Breakfast with the Stars could be a little option for Voyage, perhaps.
Oh, absolutely. Will be, yeah. Absolutely. You'll have a gallop round there, showing the place, where to go. Should we show them the winners' enclosure as well?
Be nice, yeah, be nice, wouldn't it? We'll just stick with the horses that have had a run, and then we'll look at a few of those that haven't. HAWAIIAN, again, 2-year-old, very impressive in the colours of Shaker Bay at Newbury on Friday. How good do you think he could be?
First thing Sean said when he got off was, if I'd have made the run, he'd have been more impressive. For me, he was very impressive, but quite often when 2-year-olds like him, he's never been off the bridle at home. And when he was asked to go and win the race off the bridle, he kind of didn't know what to do. So he'd have learnt more from that race than most horses. Very tempted to look at the Lily Agnes or the National Stakes or both. I have a feeling he's a speed horse, and if he goes to Ascot, it'd be a Norfolk or something like that. Sheikh Mohammed at Bay, I think 6, and he does like the gene testing thing, so he might be right, but I think he's got that much speed. That's where I would probably see him, but if it's 6 furlongs he needs, we can live with that, no problem. Nice horse to have around, and he is a 2-year-old, out-and-out 2-year-old.
And I suppose when you get horses like him who win first time out, I suppose that sort of gives you a better idea of where the other sort of youngsters
Yeah,
lie
it's a
as
newbie
well.
maiden, and they're always decent, and we always try and save a decent horse for those maidens, and I think that he definitely showed he was very decent, you know, and for one of ours to go and win first time out, they're normally pretty good.
I thought the Actor was quite eye-catching as
Yeah.
well. At Newmarket
There's a
last week.
novice race at, I think it's Leicester this weekend, worth 40 grand. So we're going to have hopefully run in there. Or we'll go back to Newmarket on the Sunday, which that's a meeting Sheikh Mohammed Bay will obviously be at. So we might go there, you know, either or.
We spoke to you for the Unibet blog before Lucid ran in the Fillies Maiden. She ran well.
Did you see her though? She jumped something
that.
in the dip. She was travelling great, and then she's hit one of the ridges. Then it almost looks like she tried to jump one of the dips, and it just stopped her standing still. And then she ran on again to the line. She'll go very close next time. She's a decent filly, and that's just an example of when they don't handle that track. You know, it's very difficult for them. But they learn a lot from it, admittedly.
Okay. Let's just go back to 3-year-olds and look at a few of those as well that have had a run and haven't. Son, what did you think of his run in the Green?
I was really pleased with that. And for the first time, for me, he showed a bit of guts when he looked like he could have cried enough and finished 6th or 7th. He stuck his head out. And he was unlucky not to be second, even though he was 4th. I've beaten a short head and a head. Really pleasing. I'm not going to run him in the Guineas. We're going to find something somewhere else. Julie's probably having a look through the book now, but decided not to go Guineas and find something a little bit smaller.
Persico was out quite early for you.
Yep.
Ran well behind could be a potential classic winner.
He looked dangerous, didn't he, that horse, the winner. Persico's not the fastest horse, and he probably wants a mile and a quarter. I was pleased with his run. He's another one that's looked amazing all winter, and he still does today. But I think we will in time be going a mile and a quarter, and he's hopefully a very nice horse. He's matured a lot. He used to be a bit sweaty when he exercised and he was walking around the field here. He would jog and get a bit sweaty, and he's over all that now, which is a great sign.
And I thought Dapper Valley ran a cracker.
He did.
Yeah, of 92.
Yeah, quietly hoping he could be a nice horse for the Craven Stakes at Newbury on Lockinge Day. 6 furlongs, 3-year-olds only. I was delighted with that first run back. Yeah, it appeared that there was a bit of a draw bias, the far side were in front. But I was delighted with that because he'd had a long time off. Physically, he looks great. He's in for a big year.
And what about Houston, we saw this morning? Johnny DeLay.
Yeah, so the handicapper brought him in at 92, and I rang him, and I said, that is ridiculous. You know, he didn't win a maiden, and I'm now left with a maiden that's rated 92. What? And he taught me through it, the way he saw it. I've got to say, he was very persuasive and probably right. And he said, you're lucky you're not 95, 96. He said, 92 is on the easy side. And it did make sense. So obviously, he's a decent horse. Obviously, he was beaten by Cambridge. Mentally, he's very relaxed. Physically, he's a good-looking horse. And you see him work this morning with Morcar. Morcar's going to run somewhere this week. He's been working great for a long time now, but we don't want to run him on soft ground. And the two of them, very similar horses, mile and a quarter. Hopefully, they could turn up at Royal Ascot in one of the handicaps. Or certainly, I'd like to hope they could both win a nice handicap this year, like a valuable one, not just any race. They're two pretty decent horses.
And what about the 3-year-old filly Cirque?
Circus, she was very unlucky. Did you see it? Yeah, and Sean doing the right thing is just holding on to her, filling her up, waiting to push the button. She looked like she was going to win. Just about to push it and went like that and couldn't go anywhere. He wasn't riding a helicopter, unfortunately, so he had to just sit and suffer. But I've made entries for her at Southall this weekend and somewhere else. Southall card is worth a lot of money, and I think she's well handicapped. She's done well. She's not there in a coat yet, but she's another one we'll be looking for a bit of black type during the year. And maybe she might take on the Sandringham as well on the way to the black type, hopefully.
And what about Lakota Spirit, who ran well last time?
She did run well. I think she might have bumped into a very decent filly. She didn't pick up like I thought she would, but she too has had a long time off the track. She's a very big filly, and that first run would have brought her on a lot and do a lot of good. I'd expect her to win next time, hopefully.
Right, let's look at a few of the older horses, and you can tell us what the plans are for them going forward. We've already seen Dark 30, impressive up on the Rolling Mile last time. A real sort of tough servant, isn't he? Now he's on a 6 as well.
And when he hits a gate like that, he's pretty hard to peg back. He could run well in a Stewards Cup or a Wokingham or something like that. You know, he's already won a nice big handicap, and hopefully he can win some more. You know, he's not far off the sort of listed class as well, so we have that option. But he's in great form. He too looks great, and he's been going well for about a month now. And, you know, we've been gasping to run him. He's a very nice horse for those big handicaps. Saturday horse, Martin Hughes would say.
And Bosch now carries, of course, the silks of Richard Hannon.
Yeah, it's very important.
I just imagine the owner's not
They're very heavy
about that, but doing well now.
He is, yeah. You know, he was a lightly raced horse, and the type of horse that we wanted to keep. So we run it in the Richard Hannon Racing Syndicate, a few nice members, and he's earned a lot of prize money. He won on Good Friday, and he ran another bloody good race at Newbury. You know, he's been brilliant. And you know, he'll pop up loads of times during the year. He's not a horse you could chase down and fancy, you know, choose a day he's going to win, because he's not like that. But he'll always win his races. It's impossible to say what and when. But, you know, he's in great form at the moment.
And Talis Evolver is another horse who just, you know, he's just in cracking form. He's so consistent.
We've got shown him too.
Really?
And he ran a super race the other day.
Yeah.
And he won, obviously, on Good Friday at Newcastle. Very valuable race. And he's been a pleasure, massive horse. And, you know, Charlie Austin going to have a lot of fun with him this year in all the big meetings.
What did you think should have been the Rings run?
Oh, I thought he was the one horse that would go there and run extremely well. Certainly he'd run a good race. And he was never at the races. Don't know why, because we were really happy with him going into the race, working super. He's a very good horse, and he will win, I would say, a group race. I'm hoping he could win at the top level. But, you know, sprinters they kind of go like that. They have their little low, and then they go, phew. And on his day, he's extremely capable. And he was only beaten a short head or neck in a Group 1 last year. So he'll get a few opportunities for those races. He's a very, very good horse, and the soundest minded horse you could probably get, and he's never had a problem in his life.
Witch Hunter's entered in the Group 2 mile on Friday. Is he going to go there?
He might do. If it looks like being a good race, which I think it is, we might go straight to the Lock-in. He was a pleasure to have last year, and ended up winning in Group 2, and that was fantastic. And winning at Royal Ascot for William Stobart. He's one that will never be sold either, because he loves him.
Mum's Tibble still around?
He is still around. Of course he is. He's like a hula hoop. He's round, he's staying round, he'll be around forever. He always runs his good races, and, you know, like some of the sprinters, he goes like that. But on his day, he's an extremely capable horse, and he'll pop up wherever there's good prize money, and we think he's in good form. I'd like to claim off him at some stage, but he can be a bit awkward. He could be a bit wooden-headed for an apprentice, but I think he could do with a £5 claim.
So he's rated 97, so plenty high enough in the weights. And the big board, she's a tough filly as well, isn't she?
She is, yeah. Don't worry about her run the other day at Newmarket. She's just rusty and getting herself back. She doesn't look like she's there in her coat yet, but a lot of the time this helps bring them along, and hopefully we get a bit of nice weather now, and she will improve massively for that. Starnberg, yeah. So he might even get 1.5 miles this year. He was very consistent last year. He's a good-looking horse, and yeah, handicaps over, could go 1.5 miles, and you know, he likes to be out there in front and kind of dictate things, and hopefully he can win a few races, yeah.
And Classic, I know, was a horse you've always liked.
Monkey.
He's not quite delivered on every occasion, but he did it finally at Sandown last year.
Oh, I tell you. And he works, and he travels in races like these, you know, the other horses are in the way. The odd time he hasn't looked like he's gone through with it, but he's just come back from Jamie McGee's, and he gets them right mentally, and that would have done him a lot of good. Put it this way, if he wants to, he can. No doubt about that. He's an extremely talented horse. But it's just about him upstairs, and nobody can predict that. Not even me or you.
You should swap him round, Herridge and Everly.
Do that, yeah. But the problem is, if he sees all the space down at Everly, he just goes. Gone.
Really?
Yeah. And take a couple of days to get him back. So he comes in here sometimes after exercise, just chills him out, and he knows where he is. But yeah, He changes as good as the rest, isn't it?
And Takrib Bay?
Takrib Bay, yeah, I'm a little disappointed since his listed win at Newcastle. It's still the debate, 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs or a mile and ground. He's in a race on Guineas Day. You know, on his day, he can run massive races against anything. You know, I thought once he was our Guineas horse, but on his day, he's an extremely good handicapper.
You've got a couple of entries at Sandown at the weekend in the Isha Cup, Blue Lemons and the Camden Colt.
Camden Colt, delighted with his first run, we thought he'd run well. I'm tempted to go there with him. Blue Lemons, they put up £5 for finishing 5th in the conditions race at Chelmsford. I thought that was ridiculous. He was up to 99 or something, crazy, for finishing 5th. So we might claim off him in the Isha Cup, but I think I might run the Camden Colt.
So you'd expect him to improve as well?
Yeah, he looks and has looked for the last 6 weeks amazing. And he almost looks too well going into that last race. So, you know, he will have improved £5-6 for that run, I think.
And Nacional?
Nacional's going to go to Donny this weekend. And the way he worked yesterday when his owner was up, I think he'll win.
Nice and simple, there we are. Right, so now we need to get stuck in. Now we need to get stuck into the 2-year-olds. We've seen some nice, look nice sorts, Pinatubo's, acclamations, Francors. Yep. What's sort of showing you the most at the moment? Which ones are you looking forward to getting out?
I've got a nice Dark Angel colt. I've got
called.
Do you know? I don't think he's been named yet, and they won't name him because you know I'll run him. So they're just not naming him. But I think he could be a good horse, and we've got loads. It's a little early. Come down again in a month's time, and we'll fill you in. But there are a few early ones. You've seen some of them.
We saw one called Bentley Air this morning.
Yeah.
Son of Pinatubo.
Yeah, that's a Pinatubo. Very nice horse. We've got a very nice bated breath called Jetpacker. We've got a few nice ones. Without a list in front of me, I can't actually...
Any Francors?
Yeah, got a nice Franco out of a mare called Cloak of Spirits that was second in the Guineas. He's going to take a bit of time, though. Acclamations, nice Maymas with a white face, and just managing to keep him a lid on him mentally. Belongs to Muhammad Al-Shahi. Nice horse he is. We've got loads. Most of them aren't named yet.
But when do you... Because obviously Ascot is... We're only talking, what, 6 weeks away, 7 weeks away from that?
Ascot.
Ascot, sorry,
Ascot,
yes. It's not an O, it's a U. So when do you sort of start looking at those particularly 2-year-olds?
They will arrive. The next fortnight, the next 3 weeks, you'll be amazed. These 2-year-olds change so quickly, so much, so quickly, that you can't miss them. You know, they show up all of a sudden just like that. And we've still got plenty of time. We've got another 6 weeks, really. That's the gap in which you can have a run and then go to Royal Ascot, in my opinion. So there's plenty of time. What's
the one 2-year-old, even if it's not named yet, you think will be the next 2-year-old winner or an imminent 2-year-old winner for the stable?
Oh, difficult question, Brett, man. Come on. Give me a chance. What I think, looking at them, superstars, there's a Dubai colt and a Persian King colt. But a lot of them are not there in their coats. We haven't done much with them. And they'll be raising their heads in the next 6 weeks or so. So unfortunately, you have to come down again in about, 3-4 weeks? Is that all right?
That's fine. That's a date. Lovely. Thank you very much. Good luck.